All right, guys, I guess we are officially live here on this Monday morning. It is September 13th, 2021, which is kind of crazy to say that we are, we're already almost halfway through September, which is absolutely crazy. How does time go by so fast? It does, right? Man. All right. So today is going to be our Monday mindset. And today, what we're going to be talking about is saying something very, very hard. And that is how to say no. Because if we can say no, that means we can say yes to more of the right things. And that's really what we're going to be talking about here. And I know it's hard. And there's, different ways that we can use the word no that can benefit us and also others. Because sometimes we're doing a disservice if we're saying yes to someone, even though we know it's not in their best interest. So that's another side benefit, which I'll talk a little bit about that as well. But I've got three things that I'm going to be covering here today on this Monday mindset. So before we do, I just want to make sure that we are live and all of that. So that way there we can make sure that this thing is recording. Okay, it looks like we are. What's up, Ruth? Karen, what's up? Good to see you, Karen. Alejandro, thank you for the apple. And no glasses today. I probably should, though. What's up, Salama? What's up, Scooby Life? Awesome. Okay, cool. So we can hear and see everything is all good here. Thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Or give me a yes. So that way there we can get rocking and rolling. Can hear it loud and clear. Okay, awesome. All right, cool. So we're going to jump right into it today, guys. It is Monday. Again, like I said, our Monday mindset. And we will be recording this for the podcast as well. So we're going to go ahead and get rocking and rolling. Oh, one thing for me. Do me one quick favor. Whether you're listening to this after the fact or watching this, let me know. I'm just curious because I do record these, put them up on the podcast. I'm curious, how many of you are podcast listeners? I'm just curious. Just randomly wanted to ask that question. And is it something that you still listen to? And I know a lot of times people will come in and then they lose interest because maybe life changes or maybe they get interested in something else. I mean, I've done that myself. So I'm just curious, just curious about that. So let me know in the comments. All right, here we go. We're going to start this baby off. Here we go. All right, guys, welcome to this Monday mindset. Today, we're going to be saying, or I just said saying because, well, I'm looking at my notes here. We're going to talk about how to say no and how we can get more results by doing this. And that is going to be our Monday mindset. And I really, really want you to think about this. It's not easy to say no because, well, we feel if we're saying no, we're going to miss out on something, or maybe we don't want to disappoint someone, or, maybe we just feel like we want to be that person that always says, yeah, sure, I can do that. And what ends up happening is we add more things to our plate and we get overwhelmed. And then, we don't really do anything because we feel like we just want to run away. And I've been there. I've done that. But what I want to talk about here today is in this world of business. All right. Whether it's online, offline, I mean, you can get books. You can have a new book every single week, and you can start a new book, and then you can not finish that book and start with something else. Again, I've fallen under that or in that trap at times. But what you want to do is think to yourself right now. And again, I'm going to go through three different things here I want you to consider that will help you say no with confidence. All right. And then from there, you will get more results. So the very first thing that we need to do and we need to ask ourselves is we need to identify our target, okay? We need to identify our target, our goal. What is our goal? What is our mission, really? You can think about this as like a project, or you can think about it as a goal. However you want to think about it as a sprint, but whatever that is, okay? Whatever that is, we want to identify that thing. We want to identify that thing and say, that is the thing that I am focusing on for X amount of time, right? And it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 6 weeks, doesn't really matter. And a lot of times what I like to do is I'll take a big project, I'll break it down into smaller projects, and then we'll focus on that for the next month, the next 3 months, whatever. A lot of times it's building upon what we're actually doing. So in my case right now, I'm really, really interested and actively building out these niche properties. Well, everything I usually do on a daily basis now is around niche properties. So I'm kind of immersing myself in that. I'm also asking myself the question, is this going to help me in this over here in building a niche property or teaching the niche properties, right? Is it going to lend itself well to that, or is it going to distract me and take my eye off of what I'm trying to achieve? All right. So what you need to do, and I want you to do that this week, is I want you to ask yourself, okay, what is that target? What is the target that you are focusing on? And then we need to ask ourselves that question. And that really leads me into number 2 of this little system here to allow you to get more done, to get more focused, and to feel less stress, is to really then ask yourself this. This is the filtering question, okay? And that is, does this help me make progress on my target? Okay, but the first thing we need to know is, what is our target, right? So if we understand and identify our target, then we can ask the question, is this going to help me achieve the target? Right? It's very, very simple. But we, a lot of times, because we are, following other people, or we're listening to other people, or we just like stuff that's new, because once you start something and get it going, it sometimes can get boring. For an example, if you start a niche property build, you're going to be, looking for, your property land or the place that you're going to build this. I always call it land surveying. It's kind of like the niche research. Where are we going to build this? Or what market, what niche are we going to build this in? And so that's kind of fun. And then we do the setup. That's kind of fun as well. Then we start doing keyword research. That's really fun, right? And then we start to write content. We're like, okay, this is kind of fun. And then all we're doing is more keyword research, more content, keyword research, content. And then that can kind of get boring, And so now we have to keep ourselves, excited about it. And I've talked about that before. And that's really then being able to keep your eye on the prize. I've talked about that as well. And I think I did that on a Monday Mindset. So if we have our target clear, all right, of what we're trying to achieve, then it's very simple to keep our head and our focus on what we're trying to do by asking ourselves that question. A very, very simple question. Does this help make progress on my target? I guarantee right now, if you said, okay, I'm building a brand and I can build content to bring in traffic, that's cool. That's like one side of it. I could build a digital product. That's cool. I could do that. I could build an email list. That's cool. I can do that. Oh, heck, I can build a membership. We can do that. Those are actually separate things that, yes, will help build the brand as a whole. But if you jump from one to the other, there's something that's going to give, right? If you don't have a system in place to help you keep producing content, then that's going to slip, and then you're going to focus on the other thing. And then when you let off of that thing, then you're going to go to another thing. Those other two take a back seat, and then you go to the other. So we have to actively be doing the thing that we're trying to focus the most on. But hopefully, everything you're working on leads back to the main target. All right. So always keep that in mind. Now, I'm not saying like if you're creating content and you're like, okay, now I want to start building a list, that's fine, but you got to get that system built and put in place, whether that's you doing it or someone else. All right. So number 1, identify your target, your goal, or your mission. Okay. And it can be for, like I said, 6 months, 12 months, even a year and a half. I wouldn't go much further than that. The second part now that you have your target is to ask yourself this question. Does this help make progress on my target? Does this add to that? Does this build upon that? Okay. And then the third thing is the discipline to say no. Okay. The discipline to say no. And that's a big one, right? Because you're like, well, I could start the Pinterest thing. Okay. And maybe in your project that you're building, maybe that's one component of it, and that's fine. But if those other things aren't done yet, you got to ask yourself, is this going to take my eye off of this over here that I'm not completely finished with yet? Okay. And then you shelf that for right now, but you have to ask yourself, and you have to say no, even though you saw a whole bunch of screenshots from someone and they're like, yeah, you got to do this Pinterest thing because you're going to get thousands of people to your website in 30 days. All you got to do is follow this process. You know what I'm saying, right? Like you kind of, oh, wow, I don't want to miss out on that. Everybody else is getting great results, or TikTok or Instagram or, any of those. So you have to be disciplined to go, you know what? That right there is going to take my focus away from what I'm supposed to be focusing on because I'm not done here yet and I don't have this completely figured out yet. And you have to say no to that. And that's really, really hard at times. They also call that FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Okay. So we need to stay disciplined. And that's a big one. It's a big one. You got to stay disciplined. All right. Now, I've got a couple of tips here that might help you with this. They should help you with this. Okay. Number one is unfollow people on social media that are distracting you. And I say distracting you in a negative way. If there's someone that might be inspiring you, motivating you, that's fine. But if they're distracting you, just unfollow them for right now. If you want to go follow them again, you can. But if you're logging in and checking your Instagram and you're getting, tempted, you have to get rid of those temptations, right? So we have to remove that. Or if it's just someone that you're, seeing in your feed because you followed them 6 months ago and now you're not really into that and now you're starting to get distracted, you probably want to just unfollow them, okay? The other one is unsubscribing from people's email lists. Okay. And I've always said this, if I'm a distraction and you're on my email list, then just unsubscribe. You can always come back later if you want to, right? I don't want to be a distraction, but you know what I mean? If you're getting those emails or if you've signed up to someone's email list and they're sending you stuff like, how to make $31,000 in one day in the next 30 days, like, that's probably not going to happen. And it's probably distracting to you. It's probably just, it's just distracting you. So we want to get that out of your inbox. So I always tell people, number one, limit your time on social media. Give yourself some time that you can go on there if you want to, but just give yourself a time limit, okay? An hour, if that's what you want it to be, half hour, certain time every day, okay? And then from there, your emails, how many times are you checking your emails? And then who is sending you emails, okay? And then again, asking yourself that question, is this adding value or taking value away? Because I'm having to say yes to open that email. And then when you say yes, you're also then getting tempted. So we want to remove all of that stuff. Okay. And then once we do that, well, it's going to be a lot easier because we're not going to have as many things that we're going to have to say no to, because everything that we're really surrounding ourselves with is around what we are trying to achieve and our goal and our mission here. Okay. So let's recap right here. How to say no and get more results. Very simple. 3 different things that I want you to do. Number one, identify your target, your goal, or your mission. And this, again, would be a project type based thing or the main thing, and give it like 12 months. Okay. Number 2, use the question filter to say yes or no. Does this help make progress on my target? Yes or no? Yes, do it. No, get rid of it. And 3, be disciplined and say no. Okay. And then just move on, put the blinders on. All right. And then the couple of tips there that I gave you was just unfollow people on social media that are distracting you, or that people that you're just not interested in anymore. And maybe you were. Give yourself those time limits on social media. That's another thing. And then unsubscribing from email lists that you're really just being distracted. Or just ones that you're just like, this isn't for me. This doesn't align with me right now. Right. And then just unsubscribe. All right. So guys, that is your Monday mindset. Hopefully this has helped you. And again, the power of saying no. It's really, really powerful, because what you say yes to is going to be the things that are going to help you get to where you want to go. All right. So guys, thanks so much for listening. Take care, take action. I'll see you in the next episode. And remember, it's okay to say no, but you know what? You have to say no in order to say yes to the right things. All right. So get out there, make it happen. I'll talk to you soon. All right, guys, cut. I'm going to cut that right there. And let's see here who we got. And Scooby's like, I started as a podcast. Now I'm back and forth if it pops on the car. Well, that's cool. Alpandro, listener. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see here. Good morning, Gio. What's up, man? What's up? How you doing? Let's see here. Okay, so Alejandro has a quick question here I'm going to answer while we're here, and I'm going to then wrap this thing up. So let's see here. If I had a site called happyfish.com and was writing about 3 different fish or separate tabs, bass, catfish, I think it's crappie, Would I rank for the site, or depending on what tab I was writing more articles for, would you recommend I did no tabs in just one giant blog with all the fish? At first, I wouldn't worry about segmenting and creating these silos, as they call them. I just wouldn't do that because in the beginning, you're kind of learning of where the focus is going to go. Some would argue with that, but I don't think it matters, because here's the thing that we all need to understand. Your website is not ranking for the website. Your website is ranking for pages or posts. Okay. So remember that every single post that you put out there it's a separate entity. Okay. It just happens to reside on your site. Now, your site does allow those pages to rank better, but not because you segmented them out. That has nothing to do with it. Okay. What it does have to do with is if you have a strong authority, meaning that you're getting links that are being pointed to either the homepage or just any of the other ones. So if you have 10 articles out there and each of those have backlinks, those backlinks are going to then transfer that link juice, as we call it, to the main site and help it. So don't look at it as like you have to have these really strict tabs or these categories. Just in the beginning, you can be loose, and then just understand that the pages, the posts, are what's going to be ranking. So I would not worry about that. Salama asks, do you set 90-day goals? Sometimes, sometimes, not always. I have not been really strict as far as like, okay, here's my 90-day goal. Here it is all broken down. Although right now, because I'm into building out a portfolio of niche properties, it really is kind of like a 6-month kind of thing where I'm like, okay, because I've got multiple projects going on. And because of that, what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of looking at it from a statistical standpoint. But really, I'm just trying to build a system that allows me to continue to produce content and manage these multiple properties. And then also take care of my podcast and BCA members and all of that. So yeah, I don't really have a strict like 90-day. I'm not against it. I'm actually for it, but it would be more on a specific thing. So if you were building a niche property from scratch, it might be a 90-day window. What does that look like? And inside of the niche properties training, we have a 14-day one that'll kind of get you up and running for those first 14 days. And then after that, it's a lot of rinsing and repeating. But it might be like, well, in 6 months, or you can say 90 days, I want to have my blog set up. I want to have at least 30 articles posted. And now I'd reverse engineer that backwards. And then we would then break that down into weekly and then daily. So that's kind of how I would do that. All right, guys, that is going to officially wrap up this Monday Mindset. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. We'll be back here Wednesday. I'm not 100% sure on the topic yet. If you have any ideas or suggestions, let me know. But I've got a lot of things to share, a lot of things happening in the background. So most likely Wednesday will be about one of those. And we did recently announce that we're going to be doing our little 1K, our little project here, where we're calling it the 1K niche properties case study, I believe it is. And what we're doing is we're going to be tracking this brand new this project, which is really taking an expired domain, building content on it, and tracking it over the course of the next 12 months. And the goal is to get that to be at $1,000 net per month in passive income. So that is the goal for that one. If you're interested in following along, you can just go to brandcreators.com/1K, and that should get you there. And we'll have all of the case study information there. And as we're tracking it, we'll have different blog posts and podcasts that we're going to be recording on that. So if you're interested, definitely check that out. And depending on when you're listening to that, that page might not be directed anywhere as of yet, but it should be very, very soon. All right, guys. So that is it. That's going to wrap it up. Have an awesome day. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday or whenever I see you next. All right. Take care. Bye, guys.